Hello and a warm welcome to focusIR. Today I'm joined by Genflow CEO Dr. Eric Leire to chat about your new funding deal and also a safety milestone in aging therapy for dogs as well. So let's maybe start there. Good to see you. You've made some really strong preclinical progress with your Cert6 in these elderly dogs. But as we know, translating from animals to humans, it's notoriously difficult. Are you confident this can be achieved?
You're absolutely right, Katie. Translation is challenging. It is the central test for any biotech company. That said, we've chosen dogs deliberately because they share the same environment like us. They share they age naturally like humans, and they also share the similar age-related disease. As we've seen in our preclinical program, the sirtuin-6 pathway is highly conserved across mammal. That suggests that the mechanisms are fundamentally the same. Our aim is to build a solid translational bridge, not just a proof of concept in animal.
Okay, well, I mean, it's fascinating. That is for sure. And your decision to do this, it certainly generated investor buzz. But is the canine trial, is it a scientific stepping stone or a strategic market entry into the multi-billion-dollar pet longevity space?
Yes, it's both strategic and scientific. Scientifically, dogs are an excellent translational model. We talked about that previously. But we are also working on the dog market and entering the animal health. There's a huge need for life extension in dogs. It's not only the young people who consider the dogs are almost a family member, or young people who have, to face the death of the dog when the kids are very young. It's also an economic problem for the service dogs. You know that the dogs for the blind cost a fortune because the training is difficult. And there's a real opportunity here for a product that will extend the lifespan and the health span of dogs.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Of course, they cost a fortune to train, as you rightly say. And also, I suppose, dogs for the blind as well. They take a long
police
time.
dogs, sniffer dogs. The selection is quite long. Therefore, the cost is... I was very surprised that those dogs can cost something like £40,000. It's amazing.
Wow.
And extending their life is a real financial benefit for everyone.
Yeah, and you get comfort dogs as well, don't you, for mental health, all sorts. I want to move on to the financials as well, because with your shares jumping over 160% in just a week, and you personally as well in the new round, how do you address concerns, though, that investor excitement is outpacing actual clinical data?
Yes. We are obviously encouraged by the interest, but we stay grounded in science. We have been working on science very seriously. There's no change on that. The market enthusiasm reflects growing recognition of aging biology as a therapeutic frontier. We start to understand the biology of aging. Aging is not a fatality. The finding we found on the driver of aging can be translated to treat age-related disease in a different way, and also to extend the health span, how long we stay healthy. The issue is not for us to promise that you will live for 150. The lifespan has been increasing for a long time. Compared to 100 years ago, average lifespan was 40 years. Now it's 80 years, with some accident like the COVID, like the opioid crisis in the US, but increasing. The problem is this second free life we got We spend this life fighting age-related disease, diabetes, cancer, neurodegenerative disease, cardiovascular disease. And we don't really treat those, we manage those diseases. So it's very important to have new solution to delay those age-related disease and to fight those age-related disease. This is a huge economic challenge. When you see the demographic data, the population is aging, and I've been educated with this idea of a pyramid of few old people supported by a mass of young people. This is not the case, not only in our countries, but everywhere in the world. WHO source. Now you have more, for the first time in our history, we have less people aged under 5 than people over 60. That's a revolution. And no one seems to see it. But our healthcare system are based on this kind of pyramid. We are now like this. This is not sustainable. The way the therapeutics we are providing are a solution, part of the solution. And we're very happy to be part of this huge solution to this huge problem that every societies will face.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So the strain that it puts on health services, of course, and countries, for example, like Japan, who have an older population, that also has challenges in regards to, say, pensions. And people want to live longer, but they want to live longer in a healthier state.
You're correct. Our objective is not to make people live to 150. What we want is to live longer, but without going to dialysis, without having Alzheimer, without having to go through multiple chemotherapy. That's our objective. Increase the health span, because that's the main issue.
And you've said that you're targeting these age-related diseases, so like MASH, for example, which is metabolic dysfunction-associated steatohepatitis, and sarcopenia as well, alongside these just age-related longevity diseases. How are you prioritizing resources between these potentially very different regulatory and commercial pathways?
Yes, that's a good question. First, we don't see those as separate silos, but they're interconnected. In terms of prioritization, we're advancing the program that offer the clearest clinical endpoint and regulatory pathways. MASH is quite interesting. It's a huge unmet need. There's a lot of people with MASH. It's a silent disease until you get fibrosis, cirrhosis, and hepatocarcinoma. There was no solution, and we've seen some new therapies, the GLP-1, the product from Madrigal, resmetirom, addressing the entry of that disease. It's a difficult disease to treat because it's like shooting a moving target, because you start with accumulation of fat in your liver, and then you have fibrosis, cirrhosis, and hepatocarcinoma. The two type of product, resmetirom and the GLP-1, are targeting the accumulation of fat, the steatosis. We have an effect on steatosis. We think we have a good shot at MASH because we act at every step. In terms of steatosis, accumulation of fat, we do not compare to GLP-1. It's clear. We have an effect, but not as good. So we are more as a gene therapy addressing the issue of the late stage. The cirrhosis, the hepatocarcinoma, the liver cancer, the only alternative for those patients is a liver transplant. The liver transplant is difficult, costly. The logistic of it is difficult. In the US, 100,000 people are currently waiting for a liver. Out of these 100,000 in the US, 10% will die without having the transplant. 10,000 deaths. No solution. But MASH, sarcopenia are interesting. The sirtuin-6 can play a major role. We are very excited about eye program ophthalmology. There's an opportunity for treatment of glaucoma that will be a revolution. Glaucoma was the way we treat glaucoma currently is to decrease the pressure of the vitrum in the eye. At the posterior part of the eye, you have a liquid called the vitrum, and it's high pressure, and it pressure against. I will oversimplify the nerve, the optic nerve. The glaucoma is a disease not on the eye but of the optic nerves, and especially on the ganglion cells, the last cells of the optic nerve. What we found with sirtuin-6 is not only like the current treatment available for glaucoma, we can decrease the pressure on the ganglion cells, but we can rejuvenate those ganglional cells. It's a major advance. It's a change of paradigm in a disease that it's still the second cause of blindness. So it's a serious disease. It's quite interesting for us. I was mentioning regulatory pathways, clinical endpoint. The eye is a closed compartment. It doesn't require high dose of sirtuin-6. The way the challenge is to find the perfect way to deliver this sirtuin-6. Fortunately, we've done a lot of jobs on multiple delivery. We use AAV for the MASH, but for the eye, there was a product called Luxturna that was, people were blind. They found the site again, but this product had been approved, showed that AAVs were a little bit too irritating for the eye. But what we're doing is we have an approach with a non-viral vector and mRNA for this specific indication. When I say glaucoma, that's challenging because it's posterior part of the eye. There's a possibility to start with the front, the cornea. There's a huge issue with corneal pathologies. And here again, we can have a very nice impact on that, on the endothelium of the cornea. So it's not, you see how it's interconnected and how the regulatory pathways, the possibility to have an accelerated regulatory pathways for MASH, or the possibility to have different indication, different entry door in a pathology like in the glaucoma, starting with the cornea and moving to the posterior halves that more challenging, can be drivers in our strategic choice. The good news is because we address the root cause of the disease, aging process, we can have multiple options. And based on the progress of science, we can choose different options. We develop multiple tools to deliver sirtuin-6 for an appropriate matter for different organs. And we're ready to be nimble and take advantage of any kind of opportunity. Sorry for that long answer.
No, it's amazing.
It's just my passion for the...
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, no, it's great. You are, as I discovered, you are the only publicly listed longevity biotech in Europe. So this puts you under a unique spotlight, if you like. How do you balance investor demands for progress with the long timelines, as we know that it can take, and inherent uncertainties as well of aging research?
Yes, being the only publicly listed longevity biotech in Europe gives us a platform, but also a responsibility to communicate as clearly as possible about timelines and risk. Aging research, it's not a sprint. We're starting to understand the driver of aging and delivering a milestone in that matter and keeping the investor aligned with the scientific reality is our key objective. Long-term vision and short-term vision accountability can't coexist. We strongly believe that, it's a balance we try to strive for every day.
Well, do come back and tell us how you're getting on. We certainly want to hear what the next steps are. Thank you so very much indeed. From Genflow, the CEO, Dr. Leire here on focusIR.